Hey guys, how's it going? Kevin Cleary here with a first impressions video for you. Today we're taking a look at a new Spyderco for 2020. This is the Yojumbo, which is kind of an odd thing to say if you don't work at a circus, but most of you will know the origins of this knife. So there's a very well-known Spyderco called the Spyderco Yojimbo 2, designed by Michael Janich. This is similar, just made larger, okay? Now, this is one of those knives that I have to say, deserves a little extra love, especially from me, because I'm constantly griping and whining that knives need to be bigger. I've rarely reviewed a knife where I didn't say something like, this knife would be even better if it were bigger. And I don't recall specifically saying that about the Yojimbo 2. However, someone finally listened to me, I guess, other than Cold Steel. Someone finally listened to me, and Spyderco, I'm sure totally because of my influence, took one of their popular models, the Spyderco Yojimbo 2, and made it larger. Now, this knife is kinda big, okay? It's not this massive, crazy thing. People, Cold Steel fans will be like, that's a big knife, really? And truthfully, compared to, lots of the Cold Steels out there, compared to my Formax, for example, this is a medium-sized knife, but compared to the Yojimbo 2 and compared to lots of Spydercos, this is definitely going to be on the large side of the sort of spectrum. All right. Let me give you a quick rundown on size. Normally we don't do that first, but in this case we will because of the fact that this, the claim to fame here is the size. So this is 9 and 5/16 overall. So a little more than 9 1/4, which is, kind of big. 3 and 15/16 on the blade, so 4 inches essentially. 5 and 3/8 on the handle length. Now, one thing that is a little odd about this knife is you've got this massive knife, it's 9 1/4 inches, it's 5 and 3/8 handle, and then the grip area right here. Now notice there is room out here by my index finger for another finger. So if you had, if you're a giant Sasquatch, then you'll be fine kind of gripping the knife down here like this, okay? But the primary grip area on this is only 3.5 inches, which does seem a little strange for a knife of this size. So 3.5 inch grip area, weighs in at 5.3 ounces. 5.3 ounces, not a big deal. Okay. Let's go into some features, starting off with the blade here. We've got S30V Warncliffe blade, again, very reminiscent of the Yojimbo 2, so if you're familiar with that. We've got a hollow grind, and I've got to say, guys, hollow grinds are my favorite grinds. I like hollow grinds an awful lot. So, we've got this knife, we've got this knife. The Canis had a, Canis? Yeah, we're not on a military base. The Spyderco Canis had a hollow grind. We've got a hollow grind here, hollow grind here. Maybe we're going to see more hollow grinds from Spyderco. I kind of wish that we would, because it's a great way of getting phenomenal performance, even out of a very thick, heavy blade. And this is a pretty thick, heavy blade. And by the way, I think the blade profile here sort of adds to that, okay? Really, this blade could be just this. Right, there's a whole lot of extra material here to accommodate the Spidey hole and the overall design, which, I don't know. I'm fine with it. I'd like to see someone modify this just by kind of cutting it off here and making this into a wave. Let's see, does that work? Yeah, that would work. You could wave this out. I'm not going to do it to this one. Sorry, guys. I didn't want to get your hopes up there. But anyway, so yeah, first impression is, yes, it is a big blade, and it looks like a lot of blade because there's all of this metal here. Moving on, did I mention S30V satin finish made in Golden, Colorado? If I didn't, there you go. We've got phosphor bronze washers, compression lock, pretty nicely done compression lock, by the way. I find the Golden, Colorado Spydercos, the compression locks are a little nicer. The other thing is, a knife of this size with a compression lock tells me that it is possible, Spyderco, it is possible to make the military with a compression lock. Please, please make the military with a compression lock. By the way, I don't normally do a lot of comparisons, but because this is bigger, I'll just throw in the paramilitary 2 so you can have an idea. This is a fairly substantial knife, okay? It's not small. All right, and the guy out there carrying a I don't know, a Cold Steel Frenzy or a Cold Steel Raja 2 is going to be like, that is small, you little weenie. But it's a substantial knife. Okay, back to what I was saying. We mentioned the blade. We've mentioned phosphor bronze, compression lock. We've got very grippy G10 here. Nested liners, really nicely done. I do like that an awful lot. Now, the texturing here is very aggressive. Okay, think Recon 1 more so than a Para 2. We've got the standard Spyderco clip. It is four-way repositionable. So you can see that 1, 2, 3, 4. Four-way repositionable. We've got standoff construction here. I think that's about all of the main features that this knife brings to bear. Now, what are my initial thoughts? What struck me right away? A couple of things that I feel like need to be mentioned. The first thing is the compression lock is very well done. Right, this is just as fidgety as any Para 2 or any other Spyderco with a well-implemented compression lock, and that's not always the case. In fact, I've had a few Spydercos where I didn't like the compression lock. The Amalgam is a good example where the lock was just not well done. The lock is very well done here. The action is very enjoyable. The other thing that I noticed right away is this feels really, really nice in hand. Very, very secure and confidence inspiring. So those two things are big standouts to me. Now, where do I think this fits? You know, this is definitely sort of the EDC plus category, sort of an occasional carry perhaps. If you love the Yojimbo, but you're like me and think everything should be bigger, you know, this is a really good option. If you like Wharncliffes and you like large Wharncliffes, again, this is a good option. If you're primarily a Cold Steel fan and you usually avoid Spydercos because they're too small, they're not grippy enough, and they're not hand-filling enough, perhaps this is Spyderco's answer to that. You know, this does kind of put me in mind of a Recon 1, just the size and feel in hand. So there's a lot of things here that are a little bit compelling. As we're wrapping this up, just let me show you one quick thing. The other day I did my first impressions on this. This is the Spyderco Swayback. I've switched this clip out to the Lynch clip, and while I don't hate it, I also don't love it. I actually think I'm going to switch this back to the other clip. Let me know what you think about that down in the comments below. I'm leaning heavily toward just the standard Spyderco clip and just kind of going with that. So there you go. I will add before we leave off here that, you know, this is a large Wharncliffe style blade, very, very, very fine tip. Look at that. Okay, so going to penetrate very easily. You'll have to be a little bit careful. Do not drop this knife. But I will say this, Wharncliffe blades are really, really useful. There's a lot of utility in a Wharncliffe blade. And so I enjoy Wharncliffes quite a bit, especially for EDC. Now, yeah, are they good for kitchen work? Well, no. But again, I don't use my folding knife in the kitchen. I've said this, I don't know, dozens of times. But if you're, I don't know, cutting rope or opening packages or, you know, working on a construction site or doing just about any other knife stuff that you're going to do outside of cutting up carrots and potatoes, this knife is going to work really well. And in fact, this knife would actually work pretty well for carrots and potatoes, but just, you know, anything where you need the belly of a blade, it's not going to be ideal for. There you go. Thanks a lot for watching. Let me know what you think down in the comments. Go ahead and look over on Southern Edge Knife Works to pick one of these up. You can use my discount code SHARPSTUFF. You'll save yourself 15% off, which makes this a pretty attractive price point. Honestly, I can't tell you what these are worth. I didn't even look before I made this video, but I think they're around 170 bucks, give or take. I don't know. Give me a $20 margin of error, would you? Anyway, that's my thoughts on the Spyderco Yojumbo. I'm going to carry this. I'm going to use this. You're going to see it on my Instagram, that kind of thing. And after, you know, a month and a half, maybe 2 months, depending on my schedule and how often I'm able to make videos, I'll come back at you with a full review. Thanks a lot for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and we will talk to you soon.